Are you a gambler? Are you a gambling man?
No.
Do you like gambling on horses or like sports or any of that?
No.
You don't play cars. You don't play dice. You don't play craps. You don't play any of that. No, really.
You're missing out, man.
No, I was
Really?
the reason why I was going to ask. But would you say, are you the kind of guy that when you were 25 years old at a bar, you saw a hot girl? Did you overthink it in your mind and say, I don't know if I want to go talk to her because what if she says no? Or were you kind of like, I'm just going to go talk to her? You took the risk and you spoke to her?
Neither.
Neither. What did you just sat there and she came to you?
That's right.
We're not part of that league. So you had life easy. So even before
I'm not
Tinder, you
denying
were
it.
Tinder. So they were swiping you right.
Was what?
You were Tinder. Do you know what Tinder is?
No.
Believe me, they made it after you. Tinder is like a dating site in America.
Dating app.
Yeah, it's a dating app that guys use to swipe right to get
God
dates.
forbid.
But going back, I don't think you needed it though. But going back to you, your personality is not at all risky. Are you like the guy that, hey, let's go jump off that cliff?
Risky.
You're like, I don't want to jump off that cliff.
Of course it's risky. It's just
I
a
see it
question
being
of
risky.
which risks am I prepared to take?
Well,
Gambling? No.
Well, no. Okay, so then, no, because to me, marriage is risky. Having kids is risky. Going into business is risky. Moving to Paris is risky. Moving to a different. Life is risky, right? Taking a position with faith is risky. Deciding to do almost anything today is risky, right? So, look, I understand the position of assuming formlessness, which means never like, hey, you guys, I understand your position. I disagree with this, but I understand this position, but I disagree with this. And I kind of stay here. That's a safe, not risky position, but you also don't create enemies. So you kind of stay in a place where enemies are not being created. But
Oh, you'd be surprised.
how are you making enemies? So who are your enemies? I don't see people dislike. Even when your debate with Hitchens was very respectful, and it wasn't as typical. He was more vicious towards his brother than he was to you. You guys had a very nice debate.
We had an extremely pleasant debate, but don't forget, he was terribly ill at the time. I don't think he had the energy or the vigor really to do a full court press. I don't think so.
It was a 1 hour. It wasn't a 3 hour.
It was a 1 hour debate.
And isn't that kind of like not the point of the debate, to have a nice, pleasant debate?
It depends whether you're dealing with a man at the brink of death or not. A lot depends on that. I mean, if he had been indisposed with a headache, that would have been one thing. But he was dying of cancer, and that changed all the parameters. At least it did for me. I was in absolutely no mood to attack him.
Got it. Pat, you're asking about risk for a reason.
Yeah, I want to go to that. I want him to elaborate on that. I want him to unpack that, the question of, you come across as a guy that would be the risky guy. You've taken bigger risks in your life. At this phase of your life, at 80, do you sit there and say, well, like inside when you're by yourself, nobody's around. You're sitting at a coffee shop in Paris, you're having your nice croissant, and the same waitress is coming to you, and you're speaking to her, and you're reading the paper or whatever book you would be reading, and you're saying, okay, David, we kind of got to risk and take one of them. What do we want to do? Is it going to be Jew? Is it going to be Christian? Is it going to be LDS? Are we going Catholic? Are we going to go Muslim? Let's take it. Let's pick one of them. I got a 20% chance.
No,
I'm going to go Baha'i because Baha'i welcomes all the religions. You don't think about
it's a little like Pascal's wager, isn't it? I mean, that's the question you're really asking me. Would I accept Pascal's wager?
What is Pascal's wager?
Pascal, 17th century, he had a wonderful theological argument about commitment to God, belief in God. He said, look, what do you lose? What do you lose? If you commit yourself to God and you live a God-fearing life, and God exists, well, that's a terrific benefit. You've come out ahead of the game. And if he doesn't exist, what have you lost? You lost nothing. In game theory, that's called a dominant strategy. No matter what, it's better to believe in God. If you don't believe in God and he exists, you're in for an awfully hard time.
Got it.
And if you don't believe in God and he doesn't exist, well, nothing changes.
So why is that a bad approach? Seems very reasonable.
I don't think it's a bad approach at all. I think it's an excellent approach, and everyone I've talked to, when I translate that argument into practical terms, agree, yes, I accept Pascal's wager. He was right. And he was right. That doesn't mean that the argument...
But you're saying he's right. But you're not willing to accept Pascal's wager.
Yeah, but that's a limitation of an argument. You know, there are many arguments I can consider where the premises are true, the conclusion follows logically, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
If you enjoyed this short clip, click over here to watch another short clip. And if you want to watch the entire episode, the entire podcast, click here.